Hi, I'm Olivia Estelle, and today I wanted to talk about staying on track spiritually. How important it is for spiritual teachers and for spiritual practitioners of any sort to continue working on themselves spiritually to keep themselves on the right track. When we start working in a spiritual capacity as a profession, it is imperative that we still continue to work on our own healing and our own spiritual growth as we go along. So as a practitioner, we can tend to get into, routines, just working with our amazing clients and then, our meditation practice. And we have to really keep in mind that our spiritual growth is paramount to our journey. What my guides have been having me do is doing a check-in where we just sit down and I ask them, okay, what do I need to work on next? What is coming up for me? How can I be better? How can I do better? And hold myself to a higher standard and higher integrity, always just working with that intention and working with the intention of continued healing. I don't think we ever stop healing. I don't think anyone is ever completely healed, like 100% don't need to work on it anymore. I think it is something that we always have to keep in at the forefront of our intention, especially with things like I have noticed people that talk about MK Ultra or people that talk about different topics, on YouTube or blogs, and then they start out with good energy, they start out with great information, and then their energy tends to go south. It goes haywire and it gets weird. Well, we have to keep working on ourselves. Even if we reach, these people have reached a level of notoriety and their ego has come in and they have run with the ego rather than continued in vulnerability, working with their guides and checking themselves, keeping on track, working on themselves, working on, the ego traps and working on, where the weaknesses are. We always have to remain vulnerable. It's so important as spiritual practitioners. And as we start using our throat chakras in a spiritual way, either speaking out on YouTube or blogs or working with clients, using that energy and speaking out and speaking our truth puts us into the energy and brings up more of our stuff for healing. As we build our life force, we're able to deal with more issues, deeper issues. And so what I've been seeing is people that have started reaching a little bit of fame or notoriety and their ego starts to take over and it seems pretty unexamined. And I think that is a cautionary tale for all of us, no matter where we are on the spiritual growth path. It is always important to stay vulnerable, check ourselves, check in with our guides, check in with our emotional health, check in with our spiritual growth, and always keep that at the forefront of our intention so that we keep in our integrity, so that we stay aligned, and we continue to do good work. It's so important for spiritual teachers to continue to do good work. And my guides have just been working with me on, how to stay checking in, staying in alignment, keeping connected to the heart, and continuing the work as I grow and as I work with more people, keeping my spiritual growth going and my healing going at the same rate as we're helping others. So we don't want to let our own growth stall and just focus on other people, as that's a form of bypassing too, that I have seen happen. And I also feel like, the topics that these teachers talk about, people will watch and they'll just throw the baby out with the bathwater because their energy has gone so haywire. And I really feel like that is just something that we need to pay attention to, and we can all be working on in ourselves by doing this, by holding ourselves accountable, by keeping that intention, staying vulnerable, asking our guides what we need to work on next. What are our weaknesses? What are our strengths? Because what I noticed is, I would follow a spiritual teacher for a while, great information, very validating. I would have some aha moments, and then their energy would just start kind of collapsing in on itself as they gained more notoriety and as their ego started taking over. And I'd always be really disappointed. And this just turned into a pattern over and over that I really wanted to know more about. Because I didn't want to throw out that information. I didn't want to invalidate my experiences with their information either. So I didn't want to be gaslighted in that way. And so I was just asking my guides, what is up with this? Why is this a pattern? And how can I not do that? And so that is what came up, is just keeping ourselves accountable, checking in, and remaining vulnerable. Always working on our healing, always working on our spiritual growth. Because once that stops, the energy is open to shift and to change. And so we always have to be keeping that moving and keeping our spiritual growth on the forefront of our intention. So that is what I just wanted to pop on here and say, and talk about how I'm working with it, and talk about how I'm seeing it I'm seeing this pattern, just to hopefully validate for any of you guys that have ever had that experience where you love someone and you connect with their work, and then suddenly they're starting a cult and you're like, what just happened? That would be the ego taking over and their spiritual growth no longer being on the forefront of their intention. So, cautionary tale to us all. we can be grateful for that, so we know how to remain in our integrity and remain growing spiritually, even as we help others grow spiritually. All right. So this was just a quick one today. That's all for now, and I will talk soon. Thanks.